Hey everybody, John Green here with Aaron Barney, Digital Lead Performance. Hope everybody's having a wonderful day. Some of you have seen some of these videos. This may be a first video for others. But we are Digital Lead Performance. We basically handle online digital leads for dealerships, and Aaron is our Director of Operations and boots on the ground in the back with all the agents that handle those leads. So we've done a variety of videos talking about digital sales process, what does DLP do, some customer testimonials, so forth. And the last one that Aaron and I did, we actually had to look back at last year, 2019, because that was a year that we launched.
Yep.
We started in May, went through a pilot program, it was successful, and we've continued to add dealers, continued to grow. So we looked back and shared some of those stories, some of our learnings, some of the statistical results and so forth, and you'll be able to find that and have a look at that on YouTube and on the SFE and DLP websites as well. But anyway, that's not the overall point today. The point today is, instead of looking back at 2019, let's look ahead at 2020.
Yeah.
Right? It's on us. We are now the 9th of January, and if you haven't done your preparation for 2020, you're somewhat behind. It's time to get rolling. But we really want to talk about some preparation that's gone on. There's preparation, there's planning, there's training, there's all kinds of things that happen, not only for us, okay, at DLP, which Aaron's going to dive into, but we're still in the motorcycle business. We have a couple Harley stores in Albuquerque, and we have an operating partner there, Sean. And I talk with Sean every week, and I had my call with him yesterday, and a lot of what he and I discussed is kind of what we're going to talk about. So I know it's in his mind. He's a progressive dealer. He's a good dealer. He's thinking about making sure he's ready for season. So we're going to cover a little bit of that, and hopefully gets everybody kickstarted off to a good start. So let's start on the DLP side, Aaron. What are we working on here to make sure that we're ready to really execute a great year?
Yeah, absolutely. We're ready for a successful year, and we're working right now on one of the key things is hiring. You know, and the growth that we have had and we're continuing to have in the future here is with hiring more agents and really understanding the right fit for our culture and organization, so that we can better provide for our dealerships. Training is there's a lot of different areas in training. One of those is internal operations. So we have some operational stuff that we are in and out of on a daily basis.
So just before you go, just give a little overview of what's an agent's primary function, right? Because overall, our goal as a company is to sell more motorcycles.
That's right.
We don't sell them, but our job is to set appointments. The customers inquire online for dealerships, get those appointments to show up, and set the dealership up to sell bikes. That's our primary goal. So what do the agents do? What are they working on?
Those agents daily, they're coming in and they're getting basically themselves retail ready for the day for those leads, internal leads to be coming in. And we're working on right now actually 6 different CRM systems for our dealerships. Probably the most used CRMs in the industry, and so they're working inside those CRMs every day. And as these digital leads are coming in, they're having to make sure that they not only follow up with that lead, but they're logging those on an internal dashboard. They're, as we mentioned on our last video, they're putting a lot of notes in your CRM on the follow up on that. And ultimately, what they're doing is they're taking those leads and converting them into set appointments. So a lot of communication between the lead itself and building that relationship, and then a lot of communication with the dealer. And what we talked about in the last video is how do we make it easy for a dealership to pivot as that customer comes in. So a lot of activity there.
Okay, all right. So we're hiring some more of those because we're growing. That's great.
Yep. A bulk of that time when we're talking back about training, some key areas there is word tracks. We obviously are living inside that phase 2 of digital lead follow-up, and so we have digital leads coming in from multiple different kinds of platforms. So a big bulk of our training is how do we follow up with those leads, those various types of leads in different ways. Some of that is through templates, word tracks. We talked about how we physically do a lot of what you probably do inside the store, role-playing those scenarios, overcoming objections, and really how do you sell the appointment. So there's a lot of components there. The quality of the notes for our dealers inside the CRM system, that's really important, and those are things that we train on.
So the agents the agents they're having dialogue with a customer of some type, whether it's text, phone, or email.
Yeah.
So we're training them on what to say, when to say, how to say, what to communicate, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And the different lead sources are different things. Because somebody may want to know what their trades were, somebody might want to know if they can get approved for credit, somebody might be looking for a price on a bike. So how do we handle those different inquiries?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And then I think the important thing you said, just to make sure everybody gets, is all the notes you're talking about are inside the dealer's CRM.
Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah.
if you're a dealer client of ours and we're having a discussion with one of your customers, we're putting the notes inside your CRM so you can see the whole thread, the whole story of what goes on with that customer.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's a really big component of it. And another component is that how we communicate to our dealers, our active dealers, is through a communication text thread. And so we really are educating our agents on how they can, better communicate throughout the day on those appointments being set and some various different things that are happening through the day that'll help us with communication. A big one I want to touch on too is psychology. Of the process and of we really want to put our agents in that person that is at home or in their office or on their mobile device, and they're interested in the brand and your product. And so what does it take for them to go through all this emotional journey, right? Mm-hmm. This emotional journey they have to go through to finally, at one point, then click on that form and fill out their information, share their information, which is a big commitment, right? As we know, This is a big decision for them. There may be a lot of people in their life telling them that they don't need a motorcycle, and of course it's a want, not a need. Yeah. But through that emotional journey, if we put ourselves in their shoes, and we really train a lot on our agents on this, is that it allows them to really connect with that customer and understand what they've gone through to this point. And then pivoting from that is really focusing on how we build value in that relationship, your dealership, and the brand itself and the product. So there's some product training that goes on there. Yep. There's the brand of Harley Davidson, and also especially your brand as a dealership.
And I think those are important, right? We have a lot of Harley dealers. We have some non-Harley or metric brand dealers. So we want to make sure the agents are obviously trained. We don't want to give them so much product knowledge that they're actually trying to sell the motorcycle, because that's not their job. Yeah. We want to set the appointment. We leave the sales piece to the stores, but they need to understand the dealership, right? Because we really work on behalf of the dealership to create a relationship between that customer and the dealer. So that's important, and I think the customer psychology part is really key, because what you said is true, right? Nobody needs these, right? Some people would say they're dangerous. Some people would say they're expensive. None of those are things that everybody jumps up and down to have. Yeah. And they probably have somebody in their life telling them that might not be the best thing to buy. Yeah. I would think. Mm-hmm. So for them to get to that point, right? It's just like go through some trauma to get to the store. Mm. They go through some trauma if they call the dealership, because now somebody's got their number and they're going to follow up and they're in the process now. They go through that same trauma to hit and submit that lead, because now they're like, oh man, they know who I am, and they're trying to sell me something. Yeah. And yes, we are, but it's good. I believe they have to know that stuff. Yeah, that's great.
Another piece of this is that the agents inside what we call our war room, where all these outbound activities are happening for our dealerships, is that they are focused on really three key areas. Outbound activity, and that can consist of phone calls, text messaging, and emails. So there's a lot around that, and then also setting appointments and keeping those appointments for our dealers. So there's metrics that we actually manage our agents through, and that's the majority of them.
Just like managing salespeople on the floor, right? You gotta have this many greets, you got this many outbound phone calls, you should have this many write-ups, and so forth on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. Internal metrics here, same process.
So, again, a lot of training, and then we're really focused on a couple of really new, exciting things that we're working on and are happening right now. And one of those is our new phone technology. We're moving to a cloud-based phone technology, and that's really going to allow a couple things. It's going to allow us to become more efficient, which is very, very key for our dealerships, is efficiency. And a second one is that, as we talked about our communication threads with our dealerships, is that our new phone system is going to enhance our communication we have with our dealerships through those kind of group communications that we have on them.
Very
And
cool.
then
Excited
another
about
one,
that.
yeah, very very exciting. And then another one is our dashboard. We're building an internal dashboard, and that's going to also help with efficiency. And it's what's really exciting is coming down the line here a little bit is our opportunity for dealerships to be able to log into this dashboard and kind of go into this portal, if you will, and allow some custom reporting and more data for them that's available daily, weekly, monthly.
So there'll be because right now we report to the dealers daily, weekly, monthly.
Yep.
This dashboard portal will allow a dealer to go in at any time.
Yep.
They can see real live data. They can actually go in and select some date ranges and see what happened in certain periods. And as we evolve time-wise, and dealers are with us a long time, to be able to go back and start to compare month-over-month, year-over-year data becomes really a foundational piece for projections and so forth. So those are exciting. Good stuff.
I think the last big thing that obviously we're working on is prospecting. We are working consistently on bringing new dealers on, and we're excited about that growth in 2020.
We are open for business.
That's right.
Ready for more.
That's right.
Good. All right, so that's the DLP side, and let's talk about the dealership side. And again, this comes from a variety of places. This comes from a group conference call that we had this week on Tuesday. So every month we have a group call with DLP and our dealers, and we're really looking for best practices. And this is one of the topics that we discussed a couple days ago. It was also something I talked about with Sean out in Albuquerque there. One is a people side and one is a planning side. And I'm not going to go into huge detail here, but seasonal dealers in particular, obviously you wind down some staffing in the off season. For a lot of you, you've kind of turned the corner. You're 6-8 weeks. Some of you that are a little further up north, maybe a little bit longer out than that for really being in season again. So you're starting to hire. You got some of that stuff going on. So one thought is you've got new people coming in. You got new salespeople. You might have new floor managers, assistant managers, sales managers, any of those things. Bring them up to speed on whatever goes on in your digital realm, whether you work with us or not. All of those people need to understand customer traffic is shifting to digital first. They go to the website. What happens? Who at your store follows up with those leads? What's your internal language, your vernacular that you use to describe those things? Who's involved? How's that customer? What happens with an appointment? How's that handed off? Who sets up for it? Who prepares for the appointment? How do you set up the dealership to really be ready to receive the appointment, give a great experience to the customer? So we talked about kind of having a boot camp, sales process boot camp in general, but have a digital component to it because again, it's an ever-growing piece of the business. And even if your frontline salespeople aren't involved in the digital side of it, they need to be aware of your process. Again, whether you're working with us, which we'd love for you to, or not, it's something they need to understand. So process, language, help them understand the phases. We break down the 3 phases, right? There's a lead capture phase, there's a lead follow-up, and there's a lead conversion. Help them understand who's involved and what those phases represent. And really focus on the execution. Right? We talk a lot about that, the turnover from whoever handles the digital lead to whoever physically handles the customer on the floor, understanding everything that's in the CRM, what are the notes, why is the customer there, what's their hot button, so forth. And now's the time to get ahead of this. Okay? If you wait till it gets busy and you try to go back and retrain on this, you're going to be chasing it all the time, and bike sales are too valuable, customers are too valuable to miss this, so now's the time to get on that. You got anything on that?
I think a piece of that is really understanding now in our industry, we've shifted to a digital traffic log, and really the big component of that is your CRM system and how you utilize that and leverage it daily in your business, I think is a big part of that as well. And obviously from Digital Lead Performance, we're constantly living in phase 2, your digital follow-up, and we're living inside your CRM system with all those particles going out regularly and how your team interacts with those notes and the communication inside the CRM. And ultimately, you mentioned it, is that when that customer comes in, how can we make the most efficient pivot to where, look, these customers, when they come in, they are shopping online because they want the easy customer path to buy. They want as much done before they come in. So leveraging that digital traffic log is really important.
And I think that's a great segue to the planning side of this. So think about this. There's a digital process. There's some metrics on the digital sales now that are available to us. And the process essentially is, look, a certain percentage of your website traffic, okay, it's going to get to your website, whatever you do. You're paying money, you're advertising, whatever you're doing out there to drive traffic to your website, it's effective to a certain extent. You get traffic to the website. What you really need to understand is what percentage of that traffic becomes a lead. Okay, how many of those customers that get there raise their hand, click on a chat, fill out a form, and actually become a lead we can follow up with? Some people know that information, some people don't. From there, now you know the number of leads. Okay, then how many of those leads do we set appointments with? How many of those appointments are kept? And how many of those kept appointments actually convert to a sale at the store? If you can understand each of those data points along the way, you can really arm yourself to understand how much website traffic do you need to deliver a certain number of vehicle sales on the floor. And we know, and I'm going to challenge you, if you don't know those numbers, you're missing bike sales.
Yeah.
Okay? If you don't know them, figure them out or call us. We're happy to figure them out for you. Okay? We know that, at least for our stores, 2% of our website traffic become leads. Okay? Of that, about 73 to 75% of those leads have appointments set. We have about 60% of those that are kept. And at least in New Mexico, we have a very high conversion rate there.
About 30%.
30% of kept appointments convert, and it ends up equaling, at that point, about 40% monthly of their total sales begin their journey on the website. So the reason I say if you don't know it, you should know it, because it's 25 or 30% of your business. You may not know that, but it probably is that. If it's not, it could be that. And the pitch is, for the dealers that we have, we've never had a dealer ever have a month where they did not have positive ROI in working with us. Since May, we've had some dealers on since May. We've had some on just for 30 days. They've always had positive ROI. Sometimes it's huge, sometimes it's smaller, but it's always been positive. So we can help you achieve those goals. We're ready. Aaron covered it for you. Our team is ready. It's growing. It's going to be highly trained. We're ready for more business. You guys, whether you use us or not, get your teams ready. Help them understand the digital landscape, because it's here and it's going to continue to grow. And understand your digital traffic log and those numbers. They'll help you sell more bikes. And that's what we're here for. So, if you're interested, if you need anything, call us or follow the link on the video. Thanks for your time.